blessed. But toughest deal of my career is trying to negotiate for about three more. Yes, sir.
Yo, welcome to the show where the real ones vent. Politics, culture, and the world event. From Athens to Paris, got a global view. Alex Salt's out, yeah, I'm bringing truth to you. From diplomacy talks to the Hollywood scene, breaking down the headlines and what's in between. No scripts, no spin, just the facts and entertainment. Tune in every week, this is how to tame it. Follow both Infotainment, baby.
Thanks for joining and welcome to another episode. As most of you have seen, we took some time off during the summer because, well, it is summer and we were doing some stuff on our side too. Today's guest has to do a lot with SaaS and data. He should be joining us shortly. It's been a long time coming. He's one of my personal favorite guests. Hope you enjoy this. Welcome to the show. Who are you?
Oh, me, yeah. I am Ilija Milutinovic, and I'm your friend, man. That's how I think about it. That's my biggest achievement in my life. I was your manager, and you still want to talk to me. That's wild.
Well, most of my decent managers I still want to talk to. There were some that weren't that decent, but
Yeah, but I fired you, which is. But I fired you, and you still want to be my friend. That's the weird one.
We're starting off strong, I see. Okay. So, Ilija.
Yes, sir.
All right, cool. So, yes, for those of you that don't know, this is Ilija. He and I worked together a long time ago. It seemed like an eternity, but it was a fun eternity.
It was.
Of course, I was by default a better salesman than he ever could be.
That's correct.
Not just as skilled at bullshitting. I didn't like lying to people. Ilija had a bigger capability of lying to people and telling them what they wanted to hear.
No, sir. That's exactly what we did not do. But yes, we did work together, and I was your manager for a while. And unfortunately, we did let you go, but I didn't want to do it. But it was great, yeah, man. We had some fun. We moved some data, which was great. We learned some things, and all jokes aside, we became friends. Where now this is funny. Or at least from my side, maybe you still feel about it some way.
Nah, no. Bygones be bygones. Of course it's funny. It's all about fun. But you have a strong passion for data, and this is why I've invited you to the show. And I mean, you have a long trajectory and a wild career from, your beginnings up until now. And, for those that don't know who you are and what you've done, you want to run through a little bit your career? What have you done? How have you started? And what brought you to the point that you are today?
That's a long journey. But I started, I graduated, I guess, college, and I was really just playing basketball in D1 school in Michigan, in Oakland University. Had a good time there, and then I pursued professional basketball career, which was okay. Obviously, it wasn't good enough, so I had to find a job at the end of it. And somehow or another, I found myself in sales. Started just selling internet packages in rural Ontario, of all places, and that's where I met our friend Luca, who was supposed to join us at one point on this show, but chose not to. So, shout out to Luca, who we also worked together at Contact Out.
Yeah.
But I met Luca there. The company was called Wisp. I don't know if it still exists, unfortunately. But it was a great. It was kind of my first sales contact, and I was hooked ever since, because I figured, hey, I work hard and my paycheck gets bigger. Oh, that's good. And I really like that idea. And after that, me and Luca together moved to another kind of a startup, which was automating email communication for insurance brokers, also in Canada and US, and worked there for a little bit. And couple of years later, I found myself at Contact Out selling data out of nowhere, which is another wild transition and completely random. But I just met this guy, Jeff, who was at that time working as a HR folk. I don't remember what was his exact title, but he was doing kind of hiring and also dealing with marketing. And we connected on LinkedIn. he was very charming. He spoke to me about data. I had no idea what he's talking about, but he did tell me, hey, we got this new VP of sales, Doug Hall. Met Doug, and he was just, at that time in my career, I felt like I needed a mentor. And in Serbia, where I live, there are not too many sales mentors available just willy-nilly. So when I met this guy and I spoke to him for 5 minutes and he told me what he did and kind of the way he carried himself, I was like, dude, I don't know what this data is, but I just gotta work for you. So how do we do this? And he liked me.
And became a sales mentor yourself, eh?
No, and then he liked me, and then got me in, and helped me a lot in the beginning, especially when I was doing all the things wrong, just like everybody does when they first get into that space, I suppose, or everybody that I know. And yeah, that's how it all really started. And then I spent the contract out almost 3 years.
How long did it take you to get things right?
Well, the toughest was like first 3 months. It wasn't easy. Because I had the fundamentals right, but I was always sometimes things just don't click, and then you start doubting yourself. And one of the things that Doug did really well, and actually that's where Sean, our also buddy from Contact Out, that you should definitely talk to on this show, also helped me out a lot, because that little doubt of mine led me to really question everything. So I used to really just be all over Sean and be like, hey, dude, let's listen to my calls. Please critique it. And Sean Elisov, again, another dear friend of ours who was also one of my mentors, he's really, really detail oriented, like really anal guy. Like he'll go into the smallest details and really kind of pull teeth. Like we'll stop every 5 seconds. Like those sessions were really painful, but they really, really helped me figure out how to do proper discovery. And not only, hey, I got all these questions answered, but he helped me figure out, like, hey, it's one thing if you understand what their problem is, but you got to get them to say it, which was like a big unlock for me. Like, oh, because although they told me the answer, until they put it in the actual sentence, like, hey, we're struggling because we're getting wrong emails, or our guys are emailing wrong people, until they say that sentence, you have discovered it, they haven't. So it was
How
like
do you get them to say it?
Look,
I'm asking this with insider information because I know how you used to do calls, and I know how Sean used to do calls, and I know how most people used to do calls, and everyone was very, very different, and yours was a very decentralized, very laid back approach to things, and you had no problem telling them to, if you saw no match from the beginning, you had no problem to tell them that piece of information, that there's no match and goodbye.
Yeah.
So you didn't struggle over the account or the discovery process for a very long time. If it wasn't a match, it wasn't a match. So, I mean, how did you build your sales sort of approach? How did you become this decentralized, very chilled, very laid back, very straightforward at the same time person?
Well, so I think I always had an instinct from that perspective, because when I come to the call, I'm not thinking about the account or the commission or what's my target or whatever. I'm just here. I'm meeting this guy, Alex, that I'm talking to right now. He has this problem. I'm curious enough to figure out what it is. And if I can help him with it, I'll give him my best possible approach and my best kind of, because at the end of the day also, like, what do I know about his business? Like, I've been listening about what he's telling me for 10 minutes. Do I really know anything? We're barely scratching the surface. So from that information, I'm trying to present something that could possibly help him. And if that's not the case, if I'm not gonna BS it, I'm not gonna be like, oh, this is gonna help you, but like, so I always had that kind of, let me see if I can help you. If I can't, I'll just tell you. So I never, but where the confidence come in to do that super early is after you close a bunch of deals and you've seen them all. So it's much easier for you not to worry about your, deadlines and quotas, and I think Alex back then used to tell, like, just close about 50 deals and you'll get comfortable. I was like, oh, okay. I just closed 3. Good.
I suppose the size of the deal also matters. Like the ones I had in the pipeline, for example, would have made me golden for quite some time, and I think it's the case for most people, right? That the size.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know. I try not. That definitely influence you, but I try not to, because you have to be your authentic self. But if you also listen to my calls, yes, they're all laid back. Yes, every conversation is kind of on its own. But if you look at like key markers, I hit all of them. And another thing that really helped me with that, Doug used to make these scorecards to help me. So like if you've done proper intro, you get a certain amount of points. If you've done proper discovery, certain amount of points. If you've done, if during the actual demonstration of the tool, you've showed them for every problem they show, you tied the solution to their problem, not just random, oh, we got this and this and this, but no, show them specifically those, that certain amount of points. And then at the end, we all kind of hide behind free trial and all these things because people are just uncomfortable. And I was uncomfortable too, asking for business. So another one was like, did you ask for business? Did you schedule next call? Did you do the proper follow-up? If you do all those, you get a certain amount of score. So I would score myself. And then if you got, I forgot exactly what the numbers, but like 40 above points, you did really good. Less than 35, you're basically a disaster. So it was really easy. You just look at your call and you're like, all right, how did I do? And then that's how I got to the place where I don't have to think about those things. But in my mind, although we're having a casual conversation, I'm going to get to do every single key point that I need to do.
Right. Okay. Right. And what do you do now?
Well, same thing. Well, not obviously not for Contact Out. I've moved on, but now I found myself working for Snitcher, phenomenal Dutch company, really great group of people. I was really lucky that some chain of events got us connected. I connected with this guy Steph, who's their marketing leader. Actually, this is embarrassing. I don't know his exact title, but he's phenomenal. Stefan Manojlic. Serbian fellow who grew up in Australia and now lives in the Netherlands.
You guys are everywhere.
Yeah. No, but we connected, and then he was like, hey, we saw you left our B2B. We have an opening. Would you like to chat? I was like, sure, man. And we kind of connected, and next thing you know, he introduced me to head of commercials, Leon, who's a phenomenal guy, and we had a good conversation. He was basically like, hey, look, I think you understand the product. Here's a free trial account for like 7 days. Go poke around, and how about you present us in the end? Like that was my interview. Like that's it. And then they got on a call with the founder Yera, another really really brilliant fellow, and I created a nice little presentation deck. Went through it, showed a few things, asked a few questions. Basically done my call like I always do. Like I tried to discover the problem. They had a fake problem, blah blah blah, and they were basically offered me a job at the end of it. That was it.
But it's a very interesting model because it's slightly different than Contact Out. Just very, very slightly different. And it's very intriguing because it's a new level of insights on data that I don't think the world knows yet.
Well, look, at its core, it's data, but it has a layer of intent. So Contact Out is a intelligence prospecting tool. It was really popular with recruiters because of its ability to give you personal emails, and then for salespeople they like it too, but they had a bunch of different options, Lasha, Zoom Infos, Apollos of the world. So they didn't, it was fine, but they would always beat up on pricing, and I didn't like them. I usually just like to work with recruiters on that one because it was unique to them. With tools like Snitcher, this is really about your website visitors. So it's not like you get access to the database and you can look up whoever you want. Instead, you put a tracker on your site, and then when companies come in, Snitcher is able to tell you, oh, here is the organization, here's the list of people who work there, here is what they did, what did they do on your site, tracks them all over, what did they click, did they download, did they fill the form, have they come from some marketing effort, did they bring UTM, and then you can create automatic retargeting efforts. I mean, there is so much in there, and I really don't want to pitch Snitcher right now, but that's the biggest difference. It's not a database you have access to, it's the tracker on your site that then connects to the database and give you all this information.
Yeah, perhaps I didn't phrase it correctly, but it sounds like it's sort of giving you a more directionable approach to, let's say, sales, put it blankly, or something of that sort.
Well, yes, and think about it this way. So like marketing will spend, 30, 40, 50, 70,000 euros on advertising, right? Paid ads, this, that. and then out of all that spent, they'll drive certain amount of traffic to the site. But traffic will convert 3 to 5% if they're doing things right, which means that 95% is just kind of phasing away. So what do? Well, with a tool like Snitcher, for just pennies on the dollars, you can multiply results. Because technically, if you capture another 3%, you've just duplicated, you just doubled your marketing effort for pennies on a dollar.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah.
And how's the market reacting to that so far?
In what way?
I mean, do you see a market for it? Do people like it? Do people use it? Do you see it growing?
I mean, look,
Obviously,
I see competitors, they're all still working. I think it's expanding. You know, there are some folks that are still not aware of it, but I think right now mostly everybody knows about tools like this, and they're either exploring it or using it or already trying to switch to from competitors. We have a lot of folks coming in trying to test us compared to this. Somebody raised their price, they don't like that. Definitely, there's a market for it, no doubt.
All right. Okay. That's awesome. That's good to hear. Let me go back a little bit into the Ilija aspect of things rather than the company aspect of things. Previous position, RB2B.
Yes, sir.
What were the first 3 things you built and why?
Did I build?
Yeah. As processes, as sales tactics, as a sales book, call, marketing, whatever.
When I came to Contact Out, there were already processes, there were already leads, there were things to do. There was, hey, this is how you go find leads, this is what you do, this is how you build your pipeline, blah, 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 blah. When I came to RB2B, there were like recordings of 3 semi-sales calls, which was led by head of growth at the time, Pete, another great fellow that I had pleasure of working with and hanging out with. And they were kind of, they were super early. It was like, would you use tool if it could do? It was almost like pitching an MVP. Like it was again bare bones. It was not. But what they did have, what Adam still has, is this marketing machine, and he was just like, all right, well look, get familiar with this stuff, and then what we're gonna do is I'm just gonna book your calendar. Now I'm coming from Contact Out where I had to go figure out and find my calls, as you remember.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what do you mean exactly you're gonna book my calendar? Because I knew that, I'm gonna run a bunch of calls, but I'm gonna turn it on, and then we're gonna book like a couple of calls. How many calls a day can you do? And I'm like, well, how much do you want? Anyway, we ended up doing like average of 10 calls a day for like
those are
45
rookie
days
numbers.
straight.
I was expecting you for something better than that.
Well, look, it was a lot, but it started with basically just, all right, this is how I do discovery, this is how I do. So, 3 things you built. The entire sales process didn't exist because that was the gig. It was like we thought it was going to be PLG. We don't know how to sell it. Come in and figure out how do we sell this. I was like, all right, well, let me get familiar. Give me a bunch of calls, and then I'll give you feedback. And that's exactly what we did.
And how did it go?
Great. I find myself really enjoying the chaos and kind of, figuring things on my own. We didn't have CRM. Santosh was there. He got like copper. He was like, hey, use this. This is not bad. I was like, oh, okay, I can track a deal. That's good enough for me. Boom. Let's run with it. And then, I figure out that if people connect CRM, we're going to have a better conversation. So I started scoring them. Oh, you connect CRM, I contact you immediately. Boom. That's another one. Slack notification, stuff like that.
All right. Okay. So you've been in the data space for quite some time. SaaS data.
Sure.
SaaS is sassy.
SaaS is sassy, brother.
What are some common mistakes you see founders, teams, team leads, managers do?
Well, I don't. How do I put this? I don't know if I know the mistakes that managers make. I can tell like a mistake I see reps make because I made them. So if a rep is uncomfortable doing one part of the sales process, if it's discovery, if it was like me asking for business, it's if I also can. This was also my big mistake. Like, I'll have a great conversation. They'll tell me, "Hey, we'll talk next Tuesday." Then I don't hear from them for like, 3 weeks, and they were supposed to reply to me in an email. And then what I do is I spend like 2 weeks getting them on the first call, and now I gotta spend another 2 weeks chasing them for the second call.
Exactly.
And it's like, what are we doing? So my biggest unlock was like I made a religious promise, like, nope, never again. I'm gonna book a next call no matter what. So that was a big thing for me. So no matter what, hey, you want to talk in 3 months? We're gonna book it today in 3 months. Like, there is no way I'm chasing you again. We can reschedule and all those things. That's fair enough, but I'm not following up basically from zero, and that shortened my sales cycle. So that's one thing that like if you find one thing that you are not comfortable doing, I need you to do that every day. Just go face forward until you feel comfortable. That's how you become better. Find one thing you're not really comfortable, not really strong, go talk about it. Like, I wasn't really, when I started at Snitch, I wasn't really, and to some extent I'm still not really comfortable figuring out like how does Google Analytics work, how does that connection, how to make that workflow. I think I was bombarding Leon like 3 times a week, like, hey, talk to me about this. What else would I say? Hey, here's a recording. What did I mess up here? Like, he had this video where he explained, I think I watched it like 50 times until I got comfortable. Like, if something is wrong, you don't feel great there, that's where you want to go. Go hug the cactus, because it's gonna be painful, but I don't know if it's better when you leave the cactus, but in our case, you won't get better because of it.
What about for sales reps? What separates top performing sales reps and average performers? Same thing.
Well, average performers and then the really good ones, the difference is in discipline. No matter what's going on, you close 3 deals today, you go build pipeline. You just closed 1 deal, you still go build pipeline. You got yourself your kind of weekly routine that you have to go through. And this happens, especially when you're managing the full sales cycle, like back in Contact Out, like, oh, I have a great week of calls, so now I'm like, oh, I'm not going to go find new leads, I have enough. You don't really say that.
Nothing.
You don't say that, out loud, but you kind of somewhere deep inside you feel that. So because that's one thing you don't want to do, it's the least sexy thing to do and exciting, so you kind of leave it on the side. And then next thing you know, 10 days later, Alex calls me on the phone, like, oh, Ilija, I have no calls. Brother, no wonder. But then we look at the week previously, he had like 5 calls a day. Like, what happened? Well, I was just on the calls, yes. And in those days, you got to find at least 30 minutes, force yourself, go dig some pipeline, go find some calls.
So I think the best sort of work tactic is the week you have calls to do prospecting, then the next week you have calls with the prospects you made, and then the third week you have follow-up calls with the guys of the first week.
I mean, look, whatever
Took me some
way.
time, but I figured it out.
Yeah, and look, you know me, like when we were working, like I don't care how you structure, as long as you just do it and make sure your calendar is full. Like, dude, it's fine, that's okay. So that's between the average and a really good one. Now, between really good one and a great one, it's actually just experience. And this is something I pick up from Doug. It's like the really, really great ones have experience and know where to spend their time. That's the big difference. They both have good fundamentals. They know exactly what they need to do. They know how to position. They know how to counter all these different things. But now they also have experience enough to know this is the valuable one. I need to spend more time. I need to give him more time, more effort, more focus. This one, not so much. Doesn't give me promise. So that's a big difference. And now I'm going to plug our tool, because you can also now get intent signals directly in your CRM. So now I know, yes, we spoke, blah, blah, blah. You told me you're going to do all this, but then I don't see you go to our website at all. Well, somebody else is hitting our pricing page for the 3rd time this week. Guess who I'm going to have first on my call list?
Yeah, of course. Of course. What's the biggest deal you've ever closed? And mine won't count. Just
well, it's the same deal. I think you were there when we were still closing it for D&B at Contact Out. That was a massive one.
How much was it? I don't remember.
690?
6,090,000?
No, 690,000.
per annum, right?
Yeah.
How did that go?
Stressful.
Did
But
did
no, it was stressful because Sean was helping me a lot on it, and we ran a bunch of calls together. But what made it stressful is because Rob, the founder and CEO, was getting a little bit of a cold feet right before the end, and rightly so. We never had that big of a data deal come through, so he was really at that time that was kind of a big thing and a new thing. So it was stressful because you gotta sell it twice. You gotta sell it to the customer and to them, and then negotiate with them. So it lingered along, but overall wasn't too bad.
Oh, but that's a very weird three-party combination because you have you that is very decentralized in your approach, Sean that wants to cross all the dots, all the T's, and put dots on all the I's, and then you had Rob that had his own thing going. So that must have been very hard to navigate.
Well, no, actually, I think that's what made me and Sean so good when we were on calls together because like you keep calling me uncentralized. I almost hear unhinged. I'm really laid back, like we're gonna have a normal conversation. I'm not gonna be well Sean, I think this is Sean's superpower. Like he'll pick up on every single little detail, and I learned a lot from him on listening. That was one of the exercises Sean made me do, especially in the beginning, was like when we listened to calls, he'd be like, he noticed that I know the answer before they finish the question and I'm eager to say it. And he's like, dude, like, that's great. I see what you're doing, and that's really, really good. But, like, let them finish the question. You're not helping anybody. Like, shut up. Don't say anything. And then we had an exercise I did this for a week. When they asked me a question, I wouldn't answer. I will wait and count to 5 before start answering. I will have to know the answer. I would also have to understand why did they ask me that. So You ask me a question, I'll sit down for 5 seconds, just to combat that urge to I know this, because I was so excited that I know this. Because sales calls are exciting, man. It's fun.
Well, sometimes I have some stories from sales calls that aren't as fun, like some random Chinese guy like saying random stuff over the phone, and then this organized expert network, and you trying to navigate on months on end, and then eventually someone else taking that deal over you is.
Okay, so let me ask you something. How much different is the expert network selling between what we were doing at Contact Out?
Well, it's different. It's very different, right? Because you gotta find the guy, screen the guy, and present the guy, while also kind of vibing what the price between your competitors would be, all within at the same time. So you don't have a long life cycle. You have like an hourly, 2 hours, maybe if you're lucky a day, to present a profile and make sure that well, it's a lot faster, and sometimes you can get lucky with it. Sometimes you can manipulate the numbers a little bit and make an extra profit margin. Some other times you gotta vibe, sort of understand the psychology of the client, and sort of be able to present them in a way that will make him buy him now. So it's not that different. It's just the time scale is way shorter.
Yeah.
So you would have known if you lost or won a project in an expert network a lot faster than you would have in Contact Out, for example, or in.
And do you remember what was the biggest thing that Santosh was preaching to us when we were talking sales and how do we improve processes? What was the biggest thing he always used to tell us?
Santosh is a man of wisdom. He used to say a lot of wise things. But
I know, but his big point was always velocity. Velocity. Shorten the sales cycle, get to where you need to go fast. Close the deal.
Well, that's very hard to do. Like in this particular case with the expert network that eventually was signed, you couldn't. You were navigating between stakeholders that were gonna take months between them.
Sometimes, yes, but there is a lot, and this is the conversation you and I had a bunch of times. You have to make sure, because again, Contact Out is a little bit unique place. I don't know how many organizations like that are still out. I guess they are. I don't know. What do I know? But it was difficult because we were managing the entire sales cycle. So the problem with that, and also we weren't divided by like size of business. It was like you can have everything. Like in one moment you're working the 150K deal, on the other end you're talking to somebody for like 1188. like what are we doing here? But the good thing is those smaller deals close fast.
Right.
So what you're aiming
what's
to
your
do, and
base
I
pipeline?
was always telling you, you want to make sure you have a bunch of these little fishies, a bunch of these nice little medium 15, 20, 30K ones, which will you close 4, 5, 6 weeks maybe, but you can, so that was always my bread and butter, those 10, 15, 20 ones. I really enjoy those because I can really move them around if I just hit my marks. I really can speed them up. Because those small ones, the cool thing about small ones is like within a week we know if they're going to do it or not. It's just a matter of, can we package this in? Is this something your team wants to use? And off we go. For those medium-sized ones, there is still some budget approval, and then, can I also get maybe marketing involved? Can we also talk to these guys? And then depending on their use case, it's really comes down to like which budget are we going to nip this additional 10K out of? So, which is always fun. But yeah.
Okay, so I suppose when you later transitioned into enterprise, you saw more of those bigger deals, right?
Yes, there were more, but back in the day, Contact Out didn't do that many data deals. That was a big thing that Santosh kind of pushed, and I was lucky enough to be part of that kind of effort in a way, and got a few of those deals to deal with. And then I was figuring out, well, all right, how do we move them quicker? How do we multi-thread? Who else do we get involved? And figuring out. It was first time in that kind of selling, so you had to like figure out, okay, how do we figure out who is all the stakeholders? Who else needs to sign off on this? If we can sign off, what are the barriers? Are there red tapes? Do we need to review contracts? Blah 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 blah. All these different things. And again, you know how it was. There's like no support. There isn't like a lawyer and retainer just getting a contract. Now you gotta figure it out your own. So.
Yeah, but it from what you said previously, and I think I preferred enterprise a little bit more. But from your side, it doesn't sound like you preferred enterprise a lot. You would prefer smaller deals, and that's very interesting to somebody that's doing sales, because the dream is probably chase the big deal.
Yes. I don't know if I would say I prefer the smaller ones. I actually prefer kind of having them all. I'm a little bit nerd when it comes to selling. I like playing with all of them. That's one thing that I got a nice feedback from a previous company was like, Ilija will talk the same with like 60, 90K deal and like 500 a month deal. Like, it doesn't matter. We'll have the same attention, and like I wouldn't rush it. I'm not gonna like blow him off. I don't care. Like, if you're kind enough to give me some time, and if you can actually use our tool, I'm gonna make sure you get a good experience. We have a nice conversation, and I think that approach actually won me the most deals. Not even the ones in the room, but the ones that they'll go recommend me. I don't know if you remember, we used to get referrals at Contact Out, and in the referral would say, "Go talk to Ilija." We had like 15 reps, but it's like, "Hey, Contact Out is a great tool. Make sure you talk to Ilija."
Wow. Okay, what's the biggest sales myth for you?
The sales what?
Sales myth.
I didn't hear that again.
What is the biggest sales myth you've ever heard?
Oh, myth. Sorry. Mythical creatures. I don't know, man. Go open LinkedIn. You'll look at a bunch of stuff that doesn't.
No, I'm not asking for the traditional LinkedIn post on, my wife divorced me. This is what it taught me about sales. I'm asking you. What is the biggest myth you had in your mind or out in the open and it turned out to be fake and not real?
I don't know. I don't think I had myths, but one of the things that I learned is that I suspect is true, but I can confirm like now without shadow of doubt that it is. Your outcome is gonna equal your output is gonna equal the outcome for sure, and it's gonna multiply over time. So if you actually try, and if you actually pay attention to what you're doing, and give your best shot, it's gonna work out. Cause like
Really,
yes,
bro, really.
yes, I did. You think
So
your
understand why
first
I'm being
call,
cynical here, right?
your first few calls were bad, bro? You should listen to mine when I first joined Contact Out. Dude. The worst, awful, nonsense. Well, obviously from this perspective, and that's a good thing because imagine if you look back and you're like, oh, I was great from day one. That means you learned nothing. No, but like the biggest thing for me was like, hey, this sucks. I know it sucks. And then I went directly to Doug Hall back in the day. I was like, Doug, man, I suck. Help me. Like, can we watch a call? And then he was kind and gracious enough to do it. And then he was like, okay, this is great. This is great. This is great. Ah, you can fix this. This is great. This is not so bad. You could have done this better. Blah, 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 blah. But again, it's your output. And look, you do that kind of call with him and he coaches you. It's not like tomorrow you're already better. You like implement one or two things. Like, okay, what's next? So, more you do, he's gonna come back. You just keep doing it.
You understand why I'm being slightly cynical with this, right?
I mean, you know.
Okay, so what was your first deal like? What was the first deal you closed that made you say, yes, I can do this?
Oh no, I always knew I can do this. I'm delusional, dude. I always knew I can do this. But I remember the first deal that I closed. It's the account I really never lost at Contact Out. That I was like, oh man, I can't believe I closed these guys. Was actually Boston Dynamics of all companies. And they needed like, it wasn't too big, like 10, 15K deal. But we had like a really nice relationship. Last year, right before me leaving, we connected for renewal. And the guy was like, and I'm so ashamed now that I can't remember his name. I think it was Casey. I'll think of it. I swear it'll come back to me. But he'd said, and I'll never forget this. He was like, "Hey, Ilya," because they were using for recruiting, right? So they're like, "Hey, we got a hire freeze. We definitely don't need to renew this, but you know, your tool is great, man. We got a little bit of money. Can we buy 2 licenses and not use them?" I was like, I mean, you really don't have to. He's like, nah, we'll do it, man. You know, it's shame to cancel this.
That's nice.
He bought 2 licenses. Like, I almost started telling him not to. I almost tried to talk him out of buying them. He's like, yeah, it's okay. We might need them here. It's okay. And then I was like, oh, look at that. That's
really sweet, though.
That was the first one.
Relationship.
Yeah, it was. And then now you see why I'm so ashamed. I can't remember the fellow's name off the top of my head. That's another thing, that my memory is really bad. So when you looked at all my like deals and things, you think I'm really meticulous with note taking. No, I always knew I'm not smart enough to remember. So if I don't leave a note, I don't know what's going on. So I always write down everything.
Could also be the age, or the too many basketball hits in the head.
Yeah, probably combination.
Could be.
Yeah, no, 100%. But also there wasn't too much in there to start with, so damage comes really fast.
I think that applies to all men now, right? Like all Balkan men have the same sort of genetic start.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
To an extent.
Let me ask you something else. Basketball.
Yes, sir.
Licenses. Insurance. Data. What did one teach you about the other that helped you become the man in sales and leadership?
Well, look, there isn't really a lot of overlap between basketball and sales. But one thing that's great about leadership that I learned, that I kind of picked up from basketball and I saw in real life too, is like the relationship you have with your coach. So when their relationship is working properly, coach will, draw up a play. We'll talk about game plan. And us as players, we are part of it. And again, this is kind of a unwritten agreement, but this is how it's supposed to work when things are working right. Even if I personally think this is not a good idea, that's not my role. And if we have a good relationship, I may tell him that. But at the end of the day, like, that's not what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to execute whatever he says, even if I think it's the stupidest thing ever. Like, it doesn't matter what I personally feel, I'm supposed to execute it. So that's my responsibility to him. His responsibility to me is that he's going to try to get the most out of me, which is good for him and the team. But the other one is also, if it doesn't go according to plan, He's not going to go out to media and be like, oh, Ilija sucks because he missed 3 shots from a corner or whatever, and blame. Like, you'll see great coaches will never say anything bad about their player. They may talk in globally, like, some shots of ours didn't fall, although we know that, like, this guy shot, like, 0 for 10. He'll never name names. All the blame goes on him. And that's the unwritten agreement where, like, I got your back, but you have to have my back over there and really give your best try to execute my idea. And trust me that I know better. So when we execute and things don't go our way, you take the blame. Now, that similar thing happened to me in the first company. We had a great manager, this fellow Peter. And the deal we had, again, another unspoken deal, is we used to sell these like big communication towers, and I had a crazy idea. I'm going to sell 1 per week, and I did it just because it was fun. But they were difficult to sell because they're kind of ugly to install and were expensive just for internet, whatever. But every time we do an installation, we got to do a deal or get some discount or something. His rule was just like, tell me before you do it. So I'll go to him and I'll be like, here's the problem. This is the solution I want to do. We're going to do X, Y, and Z. It's going to cost this much. I'm going to knock off this price because of X factor and blah, blah, blah. And then he'll tell me that could work okay, or he might be, hey, here's a better idea. But if that fails, which it could, because again, we're talking internet in rural Ontario, which means you're going to go across these giant trees and whatever to get this connection. This is like really high north, so like really low speeds, like who can get Netflix to work was great. So a lot of things could go wrong. So when the installation goes wrong, I never got blamed because Peter's like, yep, we knew, we did it because this made sense, and he always took the blame if it doesn't go well. And I always have responsibility to do my best and to tell him before I do anything smart or stupid. And not to bug him, just like, hey, this is what I want to do. Da, 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 da. And from him, I also picked up, hey, if you have a problem, come back to me with two ideas to solve it. Don't just come be and like, oh, I don't know what to do here. No, come back and be like, hey, I'm thinking about doing this or maybe this, and then tell me why do you think that. And then we'll discuss it, and then you'll start to understand why do I think the way I do, because hopefully me as a manager, I'll be there longer, and then you'll pick it up slowly. But if you just come and say, hey, Alex, I don't know what to do, and then I tell you, you learn nothing. Very, very little. But if you have to think it through first, much better. Because a lot of times you'll actually figure it out on your own. Or you'll be right there and I gotta correct just one thing.
It's very interesting because the common theme on all your positions and what you're saying is the need or the desire to learn something out of it rather than make a profit or something. It's either learn or build a good relationship.
Well, I mean, look, Santosh is a man of wisdom. I learned from him, and this is true. Market is, infinite. So you'll make money. That's fine. And if you go and your only goal is to get yourself a salary and commission check and blah, 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 that's kind of shallow. And, for some people maybe it can work. It never really worked for me because I figure out that if I want to apply myself, I want to learn something. So if I'm learning, money will follow. I don't have to worry about that too much. I mean, obviously, I have family and things, and yes, I'm going to negotiate my salary and da-da-da-da-da. Yes, I'm not saying no to all of those. I'm just saying that you should be learning. I had great time at Contact Out. The only reason why I left Contact Out is honestly because Sean left. There was really nobody else that I can learn anything from, and that sounds arrogant, but that was really the case. I was basically leading the team, and I had some fun coaching and learning a little bit how to help other people, and I felt like I owed them because somebody helped me. Yes, but then after a while, I caught myself like, dude, it's been 8 months. I've learned nothing. Like, there is not a new challenge. It's like, okay, fair, but do I want to be here forever? And then,
Right. Well, a lot of things changed from the time we were there, and I suppose it's the case with most companies, right?
Of course. No, but
It was a good experience for what it was.
It was great, and I remember it fondly, and I met so many great people there, and I still have good relationship with so many of them. I mean, we were joking at the beginning, but you were on my team, and you were let go, and we're still like friends. I don't want to tell public, but you want to invite me to your wedding, which, look, I don't need an excuse to go to Greece. I love going to Greece. I'll go anyway. But like, that's, tell me how many,
This is gonna be down south.
no, I've been south, brother. But tell me how many companies have you heard that somebody gets fired and gets invited to a wedding? Like, that doesn't really,
Yeah.
so that speaks volume, man. And for me, it's always, look, we're gonna be working together. We're gonna spend like 8 hours a day. I see my kids like 4 or 5 a day, and I really, really love them. So we should have a good relationship.
Yeah, well, no, I gotta give it to Contact Out that it did have a great team of people overall. I understand that most of them transitioned somewhere else, but it was a great team.
It's normal. Yeah, it's perfect. And Luca was there, which was always fun. We gotta get him to come do your show.
I don't think Luca is ever gonna join this. For those that are watching, this is the second attempt to this because the first attempt also included Luca, but then he decided that it wasn't really his thing and wasn't really comfortable doing it. So
yeah,
fine,
he got a little shy, but we're gonna shut him out so much and talk about him so he gets embarrassed and do it out of pure embarrassment.
Or we could do something else. We could just drag him to a studio and do another session live in person.
I'll be happy to see Luca arrested in a studio. That'd be good.
And we could even scale it internationally and try to bring Sean in as well, and maybe Santosh. Have a full man sit down.
Yeah, you already had Santosh. Santosh was great.
Yeah.
And yeah, you definitely want to talk to Sean because Sean. Once Doug left, Contact Out, I remember feeling some kind of way like, oh, one of my mentors left. I don't know how I feel about it. And then I realized, but Santosh is here and Sean is here, and those guys are.
Now they're kings. They're kings of their castles.
Yeah, I was like, dude, what are you complaining about? Smile and do your work, and that's exactly what I did, and it was great.
Okay, let us wrap it up because it's a little bit late because somebody decided to be late, as always.
No, man, you just forgot that the rest of us do daytime savings, which I'm not for. I think we should cancel it too. But.
Last two questions. Looking back on your career so far, what's one decision that had the biggest impact on your success?
That's a great question. I don't think we can boil it down to one decision, but I will say that I think because I'm coming from a sports background really helped me, because one thing you learn in sports from a very young age is that just because you suck today, that's not going to stay the same way. In the words of Bob Dylan, times are changing. You are not going to be the worst forever. Just stick to it, you're going to get better. That's why I encourage especially young kids, like to go into sports, because they'll start with something they like and then it'll quickly become competitive and somebody's going to come up that's way better than them. It can be anything: volleyball, basketball, football, tennis, you pick, doesn't matter. And then if they like sport enough, they're going to keep practicing, keep working, and then all of a sudden that person that seemed like an alien life form that you can't catch up to, all of a sudden you're competing and very soon you're going to be winning. And that little lesson that comes in through the back door in your mind sneakily sticks with you forever. Just because you suck now, you're not going to suck forever.
That's good advice, man.
It took me years to figure it out so I can actually lay it down as a sentence.
Words, right?
Yeah. But I always knew that, like, hey, I can just keep going. Like, just don't give up. Like, it can just get a little better. It's gonna be okay. Oh, you learn how to do Discover better. Nice. Okay. Well, how did that deal close? Oh, you offered them a free month. Oh, that's a nice little play. Let's try that again. Oh, that's great. Huh. Let's try something else. What else can we do? End of quarter. I have an idea.
Okay. And final life piece of advice, other than randomly disconnecting calls like you used to.
Get married and have a bunch of kids. Nothing brings clarity like being responsible for little babies that love you and you love them, and now you gotta go make all the right decisions. Not for you, but
Sure, but if anybody's listening, that requires money too.
No, babies are free to make. Very, very cheap.
Bro.
They don't need anything. They just need you and their mommy, and they're gonna be okay. And then you're gonna get this little papa bear instinct in you to start growing and go hunting. So get married, have lots of kids.
Lots of them as well, right?
Lots of
Just
them.
one or two.
No, I got three. I'm very, very blessed. But toughest deal of my career is trying to negotiate for about three more. I don't think we're gonna get there, but I've been following up a lot.
All right, okay. I think that's a good note to end this conversation at. Thank you so much for joining, Ilya. It was great having you, and hopefully next time we'll do it in person.
My brother, I look forward to it. Good luck with your show. Let's try to get Sean and Luca on there. And yeah, man. Call me when the wedding is, if not sooner.